How did young David's own father dismiss his potential? Young David is probably the greatest king who ever lived. But did you know that before King David was known as what we know him for today, his own father saw him as something that was worthless? Before we get into this commentary, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell as I dive into commentary that pushes the boundaries of our faith in God, showing us how our greatness is in our power. Young David was the youngest of 8 sons from his father Jesse, who owned a flock of sheep, giving young David the duty to tend to them. Shepherd occupations were considered a low-class occupation, during that time only fit for commoners. When the prophet Samuel arrived at the house of Jesse to anoint the next king of Israel, Samuel had no clue who he was searching for. God had sent him to Jesse's house with an opaque form of directions. When Samuel arrived, he commanded Jesse to send out his sons one at a time because one of them was chosen by God to rule Israel. You can imagine how excited Jesse was to know that one of his sons landed on a royal lottery ticket. Understanding that his family had ascended from common status to royal assertion, his oldest son Eliab had the blessing of his father because he was the first one that Jesse introduced to Samuel. The prophet Samuel rejected him, and the next son, after the next son, and after the next son, until Jesse looked at him in confusion because all of the young men who Jesse thought had the potential to be honored in such a way were rejected by the prophet Samuel. The prophet Samuel asked if there was anyone else that Jesse forgot to bring out, and Jesse informed him that it was one more tending to the sheep in the 1 Samuel 16:11. After all of the sons who Jesse chose to be introduced to the prophet Samuel were exhausted is when Jesse informed the prophet Samuel of young David, which was peculiar. Was it David's youth in comparison to the others, or was it his stature, or was it his status? Understanding that some of Jesse's sons were military men under King Saul while David was only a shepherd. Whatever it was, we know that Jesse almost forgot about him when the prophet Samuel asked Jesse to bring out all of his sons, showing us that you can never underestimate anyone under the realms of being chosen by God. And when the prophet Samuel anointed young David in front of his confused father, the Spirit of God moved on to David in that very second. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell as I upload more content that will shatter the way we think.